Previously, after inspecting the crash site, Will spotted soldiers arriving and opened fire to distract them. He urged Snyder to warn Katie and prepare the family to flee. Snyder quickly informed Katie, and together, they packed up. Will soon joined, and they began their escape as story continues. However, before they can fully depart, they are confronted by the soldiers. Will, ever the fighter, decides to stay behind with Katie to hold off the soldiers, while Snyder and the children head for safety. Brian, their loyal companion, quickly gets the vehicle ready, and Snyder speeds off with the kids, leaving Will and Katie to face the soldiers. As the battle unfolds, Snyder anxious about leaving Will and Katie behind. He says to Brian that you stay here, I will bring back Will and Katie. But instead of heading back directly to Will, Snyder unexpectedly meets with Garland, the senior officer of the soldiers. The scene takes a dramatic turn as it's revealed that Snyder had betrayed Will and the resistance group by activating a locator, leading the soldiers directly to them. Snyder had struck a deal with Blackjacks, agreeing to reveal the location of both the Gauntlet and the resistance base camp. Garland, who had been more interested in locating the base camp, confronts Snyder, making it clear that they won't act until they have full confirmation of the base's whereabouts. To maintain his cover, Garland roughs up Snyder, breaking his nose and instructing him to only call when he has precise information. Snyder, bruised and battered, returns to Will, fabricating a story about how he had been injured while fighting the soldiers. Although Snyder's story seems convincing, Will remains suspicious. Something about Snyder's behavior doesn't sit right with him, and the timing of the soldiers' arrival feels too coincidental. Still, with no concrete evidence, Will decides to keep his doubts to himself, at least for the time being. They head towards the resistance base camp, knowing that it is the safest place they can go at the moment. Brian, using his radio, manages to make contact with a resistance group member. He informs them that they have been sent by Bruce to deliver the gauntlet to Neo. The person on the other end of the radio, a woman, instructs them to meet her by the lake in exactly 48 hours and to bring the gauntlet with them. With their next move planned, Will and Katie, along with their children, make their way through the forest. The thick foliage provides some cover, but the tension in the air is palpable. As they press forward, they stumble upon another alien crash site. This one is different, however. Inside the wreckage, they find the remains of a strange creature, unlike anything they've seen before. It becomes clear that there is another entity involved in this conflict, one that is not aligned with the Raps. This new alien species appears to be in direct conflict with the Raps, possibly even hunting them. The question now is, how did this conflict start, and why has it reached Earth? As they examine the wreckage further, Will and Katie realize that this new species could be just as dangerous as the Raps, if not more so. With this unsettling thought in mind, they quickly leave the crash site and continue on their journey. The next scene shifts to Governor Helen, who is being escorted by a group of soldiers to a secure bunker. The situation is dire, as reports have come in that the alien factory has come under attack by forces from another planet. This confirms the existence of an enemy species that is actively targeting the Raps. Inside the factory, the Raps have been constructing advanced weapons, preparing for a war that now seems inevitable. As Helen reaches the bunker, she is briefed on the situation. The factory has been saved for now, but the future looks grim. A massive war is brewing, and humans may have no choice but to ally with the Raps, as the attacking aliens show no signs of mercy towards humanity. The narrative then returns to the LA block, now a desolate wasteland. Despite the bleak conditions, Bruce remains alive, hiding out and keeping a low profile. He has been using his radio to assist the few remaining survivors, helping them escape the LA block and relocate to the Seattle block. Bruce's main contact is a young woman from the resistance group who has been coordinating rescue missions. She uses her team to extract people from the block, sending them to safety. Bruce, however, stays behind, determined to uncover the truth about the IGA's plans for the LA block. Day by day, he pieces together information, trying to figure out the bigger picture. One evening, while Bruce is alone in his hideout, he hears a noise. Upon investigating, he discovers a young boy hiding under his table. Before Bruce can coax the boy out, the child's mother, Sandra, appears with a gun, ready to protect her son. It's clear that Sandra and her son have been trapped in the LA block for some time, and Bruce realizes that he must help them escape. Bruce calmly explains the situation to Sandra, convincing her to lower her weapon. They form a quick alliance, and Bruce promises to help them get out of the block. Meanwhile, Will's family waits at the lake for the resistance contact. Brian and Katie go ahead while Will keeps watch from a distance. After some time, the woman from the radio arrives. She is a member of Neo's resistance group and has come to collect the gauntlet, as per Bruce's instructions. After verifying the gauntlet, she leads them to a train station, where they are instructed to board a train bound for the resistance camp. Will covers for Snyder by claiming he is his older brother, allowing him to travel with them. As they board the train, the woman assures Katie that someone from their group will meet them at their destination. Meanwhile, Bruce helps Sandra and her son escape the LA block. He leads them to a secret tunnel that connects to a neighboring colony. Knowing that Sandra can't make the journey alone with her son, Bruce advises her to head to the San Fernando block, where they will be safe. He then escorts them to a bunker, where resistance fighters are waiting to assist them. Using a torch, Bruce signals the resistance fighters, receiving a reply from the other side. He watches as Sandra and her son are safely escorted through the tunnel before returning to his hideout. Back on the train, Will and his family are stopped by a group of resistance fighters led by Neo himself. Neo and his men had been waiting to receive them. After inspecting the gauntlet, Neo takes it from them and leads them deep into the forest, heading towards the resistance camp. Neo expresses his relief, telling Will that they had been expecting them for some time. After a long journey through the woods, they finally arrive at the resistance camp, where they are thoroughly checked and welcomed into the group. The tension eases for a moment, but they all know the real battle is yet to come. As they move cautiously through the dense underbrush, Bruce is struck by a nagging thought. Could the others have hidden away any electronic devices, like watches or phones? The implications of being detected by the enemy's drones send a chill down his spine. Meanwhile, Snyder discreetly buries the locator given to him by Blackjacks in the ground, ensuring that their position remains concealed. He takes a deep breath, the weight of the situation hanging heavily in the air. After securing the area, Guard takes the gauntlet from Neo and makes his way to show it to Andrew, the camp leader. The narrative shifts back to Bruce, who is once again at his home, where an unexpected knock at the door draws him away from his thoughts. He opens it to find a young woman standing there, introducing herself as Amy. "I'm the one you've been communicating with over the radio," she says, her voice trembling slightly. "Our camp was attacked by soldiers, and many of our people were killed. We barely managed to escape on the last bus, but I was injured." As Amy recounts the harrowing details of the attack, Bruce feels an overwhelming sense of connection. She continues, "I need to tell you everything that's happened." Her words reveal the bond formed between them through their shared experiences, slowly dissolving any doubts Bruce had about her identity. After sharing her story, Amy glances around the room, noticing the evidence of Bruce's solitary investigations against the oppressive regime of IgE. "You've gathered quite a bit of evidence against IgE," she remarks. Bruce nods, explaining his findings. "IgE is planning to create bioweapons even after total redemption," he says, his voice steady. Amy interjects, "You're partially correct, but it's worse than you think. What happened in LA is what happened in Seattle. They executed a total redemption, sending people off to factories to manufacture weapons." Bruce's brow furrows as he processes this information. "They're preparing for war, aren't they?" "Yes," Amy affirms. "And since the redemption, people have been resettling in Seattle, but the real purpose behind it all remains a mystery. We need to go to Seattle to uncover the truth." As the conversation deepens, Amy reveals her profession. She is a doctor. Bruce feels a renewed sense of purpose at the thought of partnering with her. He decides they must gather a few members of the resistance before crossing the wall. Amy agrees, and together they embark on this new journey, filled with uncertainty, yet driven by hope. The scene transitions to a flashback of Amy, who, during the initial redemption, is seen treating patients outside a hospital. She is overwhelmed, her hands stained with blood as she works tirelessly to save lives. Suddenly, a man rushes in, cradling his friend whose head has been grazed by a bullet. The urgency in his voice echoes in the sterile air. "He's been protecting our neighborhood from blackjack soldiers." Amy quickly assesses the situation, knowing the risk involved. The bullet's lodged in his skull. He might not survive the operation, she warns, but she can't turn him away. It is this moment that solidifies her resolve to save as many people as possible, pushing her to help those trapped in the LA block. The narrative then returns to the present, where we see the Broman family settling into the resistance camp. It's their first day, and tensions are high as they navigate their new environment. Andrew, the camp leader, approaches them, offering a warm welcome, but with an air of authority. When Katie inquires about the gauntlet, curious about its potential, Andrew shares that they possess a piece of alien technology, a relic of sorts. "We've gathered intelligence through our sources," he states, but the specifics remain shrouded in secrecy. Katie's suspicions are aroused as Andrew's vague explanations only deepen the mystery. "Why not trust us with this information? My children's lives are at stake," she implores. "I've seen the gauntlet in action. I know what it's capable of." Andrew agrees to discuss it further, but insists that they prioritize settling into their new home. However, Snyder senses something off. Andrew's behavior feels dictatorial. "This camp has the hallmarks of a colony. My instincts tell me we need to leave." Will reassures him. "My family feels safe here. This is our best chance. We can't just flee after coming this far." Meanwhile, Bruce and Amy navigate through the dark alleys of the camp, avoiding detection as they make their way to a nearby pharmacy. "My partner Bruce is an ex-military officer, and I'm a doctor," Amy announces to a group of weary survivors they encounter. "We can help you." They discover that many are suffering from various ailments. "There's a pharmacy nearby," Amy suggests, and the weary group lowers their weapons, trusting her intentions. Back at the resistance camp, Katie finds herself wandering the grounds when a guard stops her from accessing Andrew's headquarters. Frustrated, she approaches Neo, questioning Andrew's motives and the camp's purpose. "Why did Andrew create such a rigid hierarchy? We risk our lives to help you. Surely my loyalty should be enough." Neo promises to speak to Andrew on her behalf. As tensions build, Snyder warns the group, "I feel something isn't right. The way Andrew controls everything feels wrong." But Will insists, "My family is safe here. That's what matters." Suddenly, Bruce and Amy reach the pharmacy, but their search for supplies is interrupted by the appearance of a robot drone. It patrols the area, armed and deadly, but Bruce and Amy swiftly take cover, narrowly escaping danger. Later that night, Katie shares her unease with Will. "I sense a darkness in this camp, a political undercurrent that feels off." As she speaks, a loud alarm blares, rattling the camp. The noise is unbearable, and the guards are momentarily distracted, allowing Katie, Will, and Snyder to sneak closer to Andrew's headquarters. Inside, they find a horrifying sight. The alien technology is a machine housing an AI consciousness. The air crackles with tension as the machine awakens, addressing them. "We came to Earth to avoid our enemies, using humans as resources to strengthen our defenses." Andrew scoffs at the machine's revelations, dismissing its warnings as nonsense. "Shut it down," he commands, initiating a lockdown for 48 hours, effectively isolating the camp. Neo, still reeling from the encounter, argues, "What if it's true? We need to consider the ramifications of what we just learned."